Guys, we're here. We're Relatably Random, and we've got a special guest today.
Yes. You know us, I'm Allison.
I'm Katie, and we have the author of the novel Kill Dick, Luke Goebel, on. Welcome, Luke.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, too.
Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good again. It's nice to be back. It's always nice to be
Absolutely.
back.
It's nice to
I'm
have you.
hoping we can just like keep doing this maybe. Like
Sure.
Okay,
I
It can be episodic, you know.
yeah, but I mean we'll just keep losing the audio.
Right.
And yeah, and maybe then we'll just find them all and then like
Layer
piecemeal them
them.
together,
Mm.
and see if they even make sense.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll say something interesting among like 5 or 6 tapings.
Yeah. And you just got back from Spain,
Right.
Yes, just
and
got
that
back.
was great. I mean, I saw some pictures on Instagram.
Oh, what did you see? Me on the floor of
Um,
the airplane sleeping with
Didn't catch that one, but I saw a lot of beautiful spaces, a lot of looks like just Spanish style, of course, I don't, what do they call that? The sides of the build when they do that out of clay?
Stucco?
Is it
Is it?
stucco? I don't know.
I'd have to look at I mean, I was in Sitges, which is up near Barcelona, and then I was in
Okay.
Barcelona, Sitges for a wedding for my first cousin. And then because they have a house there and have since like 93. And then I was down in Marbella. And so I think down in Marbella you're getting like that Moorish influence where it's like the terracottas and the stuccos and
Terracotta.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
all the Moroccan kind of influence, or I don't know what you guys, I guess it's not really Moroccan only. It's like Moorish at the time, I think they called it. I don't know if we still call it that. I hope so. If not, I'm in trouble. Uh, I don't know.
Is
Yeah.
anything politically correct anymore?
It's just, from the, the world of the like, more Muslim country tradition of the empire when the south of Spain, I think, was part of North Africa. I
Oh,
think, I think,
Is it? Yeah.
I think so.
They're so close. It's kind of like Italy with, Sicily, how it became almost like a crossing over to get to Europe or to get to
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah, I mean, down in Marbella, you're like looking out at the water, and below is Tangier. So, and right next door is Morocco. I love Morocco. I haven't been in, I mean, I flew through it yesterday, but and my bag is still there.
oh no.
Um,
Last
but
week.
I haven't been in Morocco like actually out of the airport in like probably 15 years, but I love Morocco. Like if I think like like you go traveling every, I don't know if you ever, just said rarely, and you think like could I live here, and like Morocco's the one place I'm like, yep, I could live in Morocco.
Definitely live there.
Yeah, I felt that way about where did I go? I went to Paris, London, and then the place they filmed King's Landing in
Croatia.
yeah, Croatia.
I
Yeah.
haven't been.
And I felt that way about Croatia. Croatia was beautiful.
I hear it's
Dubrovnik?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dubrovnik is actually Otessa's mother's name is derived from Dubrovnik, and that's where my, Tessa Moshfegh, that's where her family is from. And I've never been to Croatia, but I want to go.
Really?
I've been in Puglia, which is just across the sea, in the south of Italy, and it's amazing. It's like €1 for a cappuccino. For like $100, you get the best hotel in your life with like a pillow menu and a free Bulgari gift box. It's like I don't even understand. Europe is so easy.
It's
Yeah.
so easy.
I wish it was that easy here.
Yeah.
Shit. Like you pull up to the most beautiful old castle that's now a hotel, and like there's no valet. Like you park for free. Like valet is complimentary. Like it's just so easy. Like they didn't like I don't know why they've decided not to monetize every single thing.
That's
It's
what I was gonna
funny
say.
too. It really makes America seem like that young hoodlum teenager who hasn't gotten his act together yet, his or her act together yet, right?
Mhm.
Like all of these countries have like got it together. They know what they're doing. They have their roots and their history. And America does too, but I feel like we're still in that like punk teenager or, 20-year-old stage who has, you really don't know what you need or what you should do,
Yeah.
as a country.
I was like parked at this hotel, and this I don't know where he was from, like was like staring at my car being parked improperly. And I came in, I go, "What are you doing next to my car?" And he was like, "What?" And then he was like, "You're a cowboy. You Americans are all cowboys, and Trump is the worst one." And I was like,
Oh boy.
"Of course he's the fucking worst one."
Crazy.
But like, I just thought it was funny that he like wanted to yell at me that I was a cowboy. I was like, well, and then you fly into like, I don't know, Morocco or Turkey, and there's that same kind of young energy. Yeah, there is a difference between old countries and young
Mhm.
countries.
For
Yeah,
sure.
newer
Yeah.
developing countries.
Yeah.
But you go
Yeah.
all over, but the story you wrote about is about Los
Yeah, it
Angeles.
takes place in the US of A.
Yes,
So,
the ancient empire of Los Angeles.
right, right. What was your first experience in LA? You seem to, I mean, the book is kind of like a homage, kind of like, but like an anti-homage to it a little bit. What was your first experience in LA?
What was my? I'm just like panicking because I'm like, wait a minute, Morocco is insanely old. Turkey, Turkey as a country is relatively new, but yeah, Morocco's like,
Okay.
Don't
ancient.
worry,
What
we
did I
don't have a
say?
fact check at the end of this
Right.
podcast.
Uh, I'm trying to think of when the first time I ever went to Los Angeles was. I mean, I later found out like that my father's parents like lived are buried in LA and lived very close to Cantor's Delicatessen. And like I went with my dad and like we went and looked at their old little apartment building with their little pool and like what is I guess West Hollywood, and it looks shabby but also kind of cinematic. It was like kind of and then I learned somebody really famous lived there and I can't remember who now, but it looks like I don't know, like something out of like Body Double, or I don't know, one of those like old like an old 70s or 80s films in LA. I can't remember the first time I was in Los Angeles. I don't have a strong.
Okay.
I know I went to Disneyland. Is it Disneyland?
Okay.
Yeah, Disneyland. Disney World is in
I
Florida.
always get them confused because I haven't been since I was a little child. But I went to Disneyland when I was like 3, and my
Wow.
dad's mom got arrested. She was in a wheelchair on oxygen, and she was a kleptomaniac who liked to
Oh
take
my
speed,
gosh.
who took prescription speed and downers. And she stole from the gift shop. And so they locked her up. And
Wow.
and then my mom like didn't have a phone or a wallet or I don't know why. And like couldn't reach anyone. And she's kind of a nervous, she was especially back then a very nervous personality type. And so she was like freaking out. I'm sure it had some kind
Okay.
of an depression. But my grandmother then faked a heart attack in Disney jail and they let her go. They were just like, fuck this lady. Like we're not fucking dealing
Mm.
with this.
At
Like
that point, you just let her keep the Mickey Mouse ears and
way
call
too
Yeah,
happy.
right. She deserved her small thrills,
it.
right?
We're way too happy here, the happiest place on earth to keep
Yeah.
this woman who's having a heart attack and falling out of her wheelchair on oxygen
Yeah.
locked up any longer.
She
So they
sounds quite wily.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they let her go.
Okay.
Maybe I went to LA then. Okay, I guess like yeah, I don't want to tell that story. Other than I'll say that, okay, I remember the first time I went to LA, it was a mess. And I'll just say it ended with this cat screaming mommy all night, me having a nervous breakdown, leaving, and ending up in a peyote ceremony like 6 months later with a full-fledged mental breakdown. But
Oh
it's
my
all because I
gosh.
went to that goddamn Scientology center that does the whole, no psychiatry museum. Yeah, that's they got me.
Okay. They
Yeah.
gotcha, huh? I heard.
Scientology, they
Yeah.
got deep roots in California too.
Yes, they do. So, I mean, your grandma, I mean, that sounds like something Susie would do is
Yeah,
is
yeah.
steal from a gift shop
Yeah,
in her older years, if she ever makes it that far.
yeah.
And Susie's
Someone
the main character of
And
your
she might
novel.
be on an oxygen tank at that time. Although
from
at
oxy
the
to
end of the book,
oxygen.
she
That's how
was,
you do that.
yeah. At the end of the book, she was rehabilitated somewhat, right?
Yeah.
So,
And who knows if it'll.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
She's sober by the end of the book. She's working her 12 steps. She's trying to figure out if she can have a God. But yeah, who knows if it'll last? I mean, I hope so. But there is a nice segue there, like from oxy to oxygen tank, if she makes it. I mean,
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
the cradle to the grave, we're getting medical care from people that hate us.
Which is very scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know if she would steal from the gift shop yeah, I think she would.
It
But
depends
maybe
on the day, I guess.
but I
Yeah.
feel like she would have like bigger ambitions. Like she is clever, right? Like she does end up um kind of masterminding some big moves in the book. I'm not sure she's just like gonna engage in like petty theft, but I mean she might for fun now that she's landed where she's landed. But yeah, I've talked about this book so much, and
I'm
I was
sure.
gonna
I'm
talk.
sure.
I was
Yeah.
just, that was the reason I was late is I was just taking a call from a producer, and she was like trying to like option, and she was like, I feel like it's like Susie's like Eloise, if Elo like once she like stopped living at the plaza as a child, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, when she figured out how hard life was outside of
Yeah.
the hotel.
I like that. I mean, I get that.
I can picture Susie or living at the plaza like that,
I
as a
mean, she
child
used
and
to live
running around
at
and
the Cecil, right? So,
I guess she did
yeah.
for a time.
No, she was staying at the Carlisle.
Oh, the Carlisle. I'm right.
Carlisle.
At
I'm
first,
sorry.
Cecil's where she goes and where the first official murder occurs, right?
Right.
And
And then the Carlisle is where she was painting Phil,
that's
correct? Right.
yeah. Which like by
Both
now
city hotels.
the viewers have
Very
no
sorry.
idea what this book is about. Yeah, no, there's like she starts out living the luxurious lifestyle as a pill popping college student, painting her professor in the nude. I always feel like I have to then say like she's painting the professor while he's nude. She's not
Right.
nude. Maybe she's nude. And then she goes back to LA after she gets kicked out of NYU and she starts to be involved in or around all of these murders that happen in hotels across LA, but they are not nice hotels. The
Right.
Cecil's probably the nicest hotel, which is still a total shithole. Um, and it has a whole history with like serial killers and the Black Dahlia being seen there before she was killed
Right.
and um, other serial killers staying there and grisly murders that happened there. And then from there, it gets just worse and worse motels. There's like, I wish I had a whole list. There's the Snooty Fox Inn. There's the Stars Inn. I can't remember all of them. I wish
Have
I
you
had.
been to these places?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've driven by the Snooty Fox a million times on the way to the airport when you take the surface streets. During COVID, we were like, that was like our thing. We were like, let's just drive the surface streets to the airport again. And we would just kind of like get weird, uh,
Yeah.
maybe do some things and then just drive the surface streets to the airport. I don't know why. We
Maybe
weren't,
there was more of a sense of safety because people weren't really as out and about because of COVID.
I don't know why we were doing it. We just like to drive around, and I think I had like a shitty car at the time, and we were just driving around listening to music and just talking, driving to the airport. It's the kind of thing you do in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
So,
drive.
I mean, and Susie, your question about, I think she had a question about Susie about,
Yeah, so I actually since we're doing the interview again after the book came out, I got a chance to listen to the audiobook, which
Okay, what did you think?
it was good. It was definitely good. I feel like it was also easier to understand and pick up new things when it's being read to you, especially when it skips around being first person and third person.
Having like the different actors, like not the different actors, but the same person, woman doing different voices, who's talking.
Yes, changing tone, doing all of that.
Mhm. I haven't listened to the whole audiobook. I listened to the first 10 pages or so. And at first I was like, oh shit, she's too old to
Oh,
be Susie. Like she
she does
sounded,
have a more mature voice.
yeah. But
Sure.
then I was like, oh, but I like that because it made it sound, I mean, I think it did something with the point of view where it's like, oh, maybe it's like a little bit longer, even though the book it's like 2 years later from the incidents on election day that like finished the entire novel, all the tragic shit that happens on that. on election day 2016. It's like 2 years later that she's writing the book and has created this novelization of what happened. And but like when you're hearing it on audio, it sounds more like maybe it's been 10 years or something, and I kind of liked that. And
Yeah.
it sounded sort of like serious. Like her voice seemed like she was like taking, like it sounded like the book was like being taken serious in terms of its writing style in a way that like I felt like if it would have been like a younger sounding narrator, I'd have been a little bit like, oh, maybe that would have been lost. I don't know. What did you think?
Well, I do think that it does help that it sounds like she's telling the story absolutely afterwards, like she's
Right.
matured more, you know? So in that sense, I do think that it worked well for the story. Absolutely. And I don't think that her having a more mature voice took away from it in any sense. And I also think that she did well characterizing how like haughty Susie was. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, Susie's a smart cookie. I mean, she's a smart operator.
Yeah.
She knows a lot of shit about a lot of shit and a lot of reference points and a lot of names and a lot of designers and a lot of artists and a lot of theorists. And she's very aware of everything that she's done and is doing, and all the traps that she's operating in, which I think is essential as a powerful woman in America, especially a young woman in America. Like there is this sort of like she has to know her shit, and she does, so that her story is her own. And I think that that's kind of the what's interesting about the book in a lot of ways is that she starts out as this really disempowered character who has no agency, who's born too late, like everyone's born too late. The world's already gone off a cliff,
Yeah.
and she has no control and no power. And everyone is, her dad is smacking her around, teaching her how to use an AR-15. She's hooked on, drugs that are a coping mechanism for a maladaptive technique, coping technique for the trauma that she's lived through. And she's like, people always say the first thing, it's like she's a privileged young woman, she's a rich young woman, it's like, yeah, she's privileged, she is, and that's why she's able to survive, and that's why she's able to make so much like change in her world. But she's also, been grossly mistreated and is under a lot of pressure and has internalized a lot of anxiety and stress and abuse. So I just think it's cool that she's able to come by the end into a position of having so much agency and so much control because it doesn't seem like she's going to from the start, right?
Oh, for
And I
sure.
think that kind of like intelligence is um is part of her. I mean, it's part of her privilege to have that kind of an education and that kind of exposure for sure. But it's also like, her weapon, that she turns against privilege or people who are like truly privileged to the point that they have no consequences for their behavior, until she comes around. So that's a long sales pitch for why I think Susie is fucking awesome.
Okay, so that actually brings me to my question. Would you say that Susie is a protagonist, an antagonist, both, neither?
She's definitely an antagonist.
Because
She's
I felt that
definitely.
way a bit. But she is the main character, so are we classifying her as a protagonist as well?
I guess I meant it like in the chemical sense. Like she's an antagonist, like she creates change, like she agitates,
Right.
like in the Socratic kind of like gadfly way. Or like, I mean, I always say like the elevator pitch is just like, you know, she's she's a 19-year-old college dropout in Brentwood who becomes the female Luigi Mangione, right? And it's like, she's definitely creating conflict. But I mean, she's definitely the protagonist. She's also the narrator. She's also the author, which is weird because I'm also the author. We like
Right.
share authorship. I don't know if I've ever read a novel where it's written by someone as the novelization of their experience. Like I'm sure they're out there. I've never seen one. So it's interesting to me to feel sort of like I think every writer or artist feels like once you finish something and you really finish it, it's like it's not mine anymore. Like it's out in the world and it belongs to the world. But I feel even like one step further from that where I'm like, this isn't even like I'm not the author. Susie's the author.
Interesting.
Then I like created a social media page for Susie that this woman that I met like is the um she's this lesbian model, and I met her and she was like I like she liked the book and was like I want to play Susie, and I was like, well, you could do it now. And so she just like started doing social media as Susie Vogelman. It's called like Wake Up Susie Vogelman or Wake the Fuck Up Susie Vogelman. I can't remember. And she like posts photos of herself throughout her lifetime. I mean, she's only like, I think like 22 or something. So she's like Susie's age at the time that she's writing the book. And then she posted photos of herself like in high school and college and like created her whole backstory. Um,
That's interesting.
and
Very
and so now I like, but I have access to her Instagram and she has access to that Instagram. So sometimes I'll go on like and I'll post something and then I'll have Susie like in the comment section be like, "You stole my fucking book. Like, who
Yeah.
the fuck are you? Like, I'm the author." And it's just
I
sort of
love
fun
that.
to like play with the layers of like, because I mean, it is a novel that is working at like, different kind of levels of consciousness and different levels of fiction and metafiction and I think it worked and it's cool that it worked. I do make the mistake of going on Goodreads and sometimes which you just never should as an author. And like there are like, a lot of people who like it and like are really, it's great to see that. But then there's a strong little contingency of like, this book makes no fucking sense. This book is word salad. This book, I don't know why. And I'm just like, I over delivered for those people. Like those people could have used just like a very simple book. And so I
Right.
think this time
It's
I'm
not
just
for
going to
them. Yeah.
Right.
really, really simple book, like the simplest book.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of an identity crisis Susie's having, right? She wants to be different or better than what her upbringing suggests she should be,
Right.
I think. So,
Yeah. How do you relate to that?
myself.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if we can relate to that because
well, I mean, well, like what was
I mean,
expected of us, I
I feel like
guess.
everybody wants to be in a better position, unless you were born affluent, but affluency is not necessarily the good position.
I mean, I think for women, like our age, like I'm 41, so like I just thought I should do what my mom was doing, have a kid, have a family, and I did do those things. But I
Yeah,
feel like I'm just realizing in the past few years that like I can do more than that. It's
yeah,
not all about that. But I knew as a kid, and it's okay to want those things. It's
right.
okay not to want those things. And it's been said over and over again, but that's just like the expectation of women back then, but not so much anymore, which I
Well,
think is a great thing.
Yeah.
how did you relate to like, or not relate to, or how did you judge or feel about like Susie's ambitions, her like decisions to present herself the way she presents herself? Like, how do you feel about her?
I feel like Susie is a lot bolder than I am.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
do. Yeah.
I think when I was younger, and maybe, and I'm talking like when I was in the single digits, I feel like I was a lot bolder. I said what I wanted to, and I was very, confident. And then I feel like as you grow up and you experience things, you can either let those things that challenge you bring you more confidence as you learn from them or beat you down. And I think that I think that it made me internalize myself more instead of becoming bolder. I became more introverted than I was extroverted.
Yeah.
How did they convince you to do that?
It wasn't convincing. It was, how when you're a kid and you're in class and your teacher asks you a question and you feel so confident that you know the answer and you stick your hand way up and you're like, oh, I know it, I know it, I know it. And then you don't know the right answer. And then everybody is
Then
like,
you're a
oh,
pariah.
yeah. And so it's like
You're a 9-year-old pariah.
you just take that experience and you're like, okay, well, I guess I should not raise my hand because I didn't have the answer and I thought I did, you know?
Isn't that's so sad.
It is sad.
It
And it
is.
shouldn't be that way, but I was going to say that, Susie by the pool has an awakening, and I think she feels like she's drifting away. And what am I doing? And not everyone can realize that, you
That's
know?
true.
Not everyone can realize, like, I'm wasting away here. What am I doing? She's having a moment of reflection. Um, and, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I keep talking about this. It's so funny that you do like this. I've been on tour now for like 6 weeks with this book. And the last time we recorded it hadn't even come out yet. And like, it did become like a bestseller, at least, it wasn't New York Times bestseller, but it became a bestseller. And it's, it's been interesting to like see the reactions from, the critical world and from readers and to talk to people. But you start talking about it and you realize things that I'm realizing things that I didn't necessarily like intend, which is that I think that like trickle down economics for the Republicans, like, if you give the rich money, it'll reach the poor. I think that like trickle down trauma is real. Like trickle down economics, I'm not sure. I don't know. Probably not. But like trickle down like trauma, I think does happen. Like I think that the way that the powerful or the elite or whatever you want to call them treat each other and themselves and the kind of like violence and pressure that they grow up with gets I want to believe that that's what makes them do such terrible, greedy, mean-spirited, and horrific things. And that then goes down the line so that when a book like Kill Dick that starts out in the wealthy echelon of Brentwood Circle with Susie's dad being the primary attorney to Richard Sackler. Richard Sackler makes, his family makes $8 billion off opioids, making Oxy, just like Richard Sickler. Oh, wait, I said Sackler, didn't I? In the book, it's Sickler. In real life, it's, Richard Sackler has similar circumstances. But uh, but it's like the world of Holmby Hills and the Bird Streets and Brentwood and Beverly Hills and all this kind of like extreme wealth, Cipriani and the Peninsula Hotel and the Beverly Hills Hotel and Hotel Bel Air. That whole world is just the beginning of the book. And then in Susie's Awakening, in her Alice in Wonderland journey, she goes to live in West Adams. She ends up on Skid Row for a period of time. She ends up making a direct art action on Skid Row that I think is sort of like this book is a direct art action. Um, and then, she ends up where she ends up. But this sort of stratified world of LA that has the rich and the poor, like when you look at that as a holograph for America and the world, you see that like all these people, there's trauma and there's addiction all throughout these different, stratified worlds, probably and certainly more, way more per capita on Skid Row than in Brentwood Circle. But that abuse, that kind of like, meanness that Fred Trump imparted on Don, right? Or that Elon Musk experienced, getting, like abused and traumatized by his father or whoever. Like these people, even though they're like villainous, heel, monster, rapist, horrible people, they were like mistreated, I think, by systems of pressure, control, manipulation, deception, rage, right? And the sense that they have to measure up. And so then you look at someone like Susie, who is both. Like she's both the addict victim of that trauma, but she's also someone who comes from that world, right? And she has to make a decision. Either she's going to become like her forebears or like the people that she comes from, like her dad, who's primary attorney to Richard Sickler in the book. She's either going to be like him or she's going to do something different. And the question in the end is like, when she takes the action that she takes, and then the question is, does she take that act? Like, what level of responsibility does she actually have in the events that unfold? Like, does she much like Patty Hearst, right? Like, was she a victim or was she a willing participant in a radical revolution, right? Which is what's always interesting about LA. And you see that in like Pynchon's Vineland, and you see that in the adaptation One Battle After Another, this interest in the radical and the radicalization of wealthy. But you look at Luigi Mangione, and like we did an interview with his classmates when I was thinking about making a documentary because I also make film. When that, alleged murder by Luigi Mangione happened, we went and interviewed his classmates like that week. And they were like, he's the richest kid at school, at the Dalton school. He's the richest, like the family's the richest family in town. And so there's that whole thing of like the powerful, the rich, the wealthy, people have access. When they become victimized, they have this sense of like, well, I better do something and I'm supposed to do something and I'm the chosen one. Like I'm the one who's supposed to take agency and take action. And if I don't, then I fail to measure up or count in this world. So whether they're an outlaw or whether they're, the next head of Goldman Sachs, they're still operating on that idea of like, I got to make something out of myself. Whereas the people who grew up with nothing, who are born on Skid Row, like the woman who toured me on Skid Row, who spent her whole life there and then died after she showed me around, Teresa, who was amazing, like she didn't get that message. Like she got the trauma, she got the results of all that pressure and you know what I mean? But like she never got told like, hey, if you really get sick of this, you might want to pick up an AR-15 and just like go after the head of a fucking corporation or like a head
Right.
of state. Like that's just not a message, you know? And it's sort of that thing of like, I got the answer, like you were saying at 9, and like if you then get told like you don't know shit,
Right.
you weren't given the like keys to the kingdom psychically of being told by your family, no, you do matter. It like really crushes you. But if you grew up and you go home and you're like, they told me I didn't know what I was talking about, then how fucking dare they?
Yeah. No.
You're a god. You know what
Right. Right. Wow, that would have been a confidence boost for sure.
So this book is sort of like encouraging everyone to be like, you're a god. Like, you should have power. You should have agency. You should, if you operate with the same level of confidence and positive self-talk that Donald Trump operates on, and you use it for good and to oppose the forces of ill, and then your friends and you can all like reinforce each other, you could change the world like that.
True.
They're changing the world because they all support each other, bond together, and act like bad, bad, bad people. But if we did it the opposite way and we're like, no, I'm not wrong, and like let's support each other, then you've got, a positive revolution.
I love that message. And I'm
I
gonna
mean,
I'm gonna apply it to my daily life for
it's
sure.
easier said than done, but I mean, like they do have us fighting each other, right? Everybody's
Oh,
like
for sure.
tearing each other apart. We're all like filling out the comment cards against each other like nonstop, and we talk shit about the powerful, but we're way more effective at dragging each other down than we are dragging them down. We got to be building each other up.
Well, and they do say that that's one of the things about our current administration is that it has been arguably the one of the most divisive administrations of America's history. And I agree. It sucks though because unfortunately with with that divisiveness and with the way that our current leaders present themselves, I feel like it gives those who believe in those behaviors a sense that they can do that as well. You know,
What do you mean?
well, well, my president can do this. It's okay for
Oh,
me to do
right,
it.
right,
You know,
right.
because our parents are an example for us. Our administrators are an example for us. We're all looking for guidance in that sense,
Hmm.
And when somebody has something that they weren't sure was right or wrong to do, even though it might clearly be wrong to others, if one of their leaders tells them that it's a-okay,
Right. It's okay.
that's emboldening too,
Right. It's
you
okay.
know?
It's okay to, yeah, force yourself upon people. It's okay to rape children. It's okay to lie. It's okay to,
Right.
commit genocide and atrocities. It's okay to, yeah, make insane amounts of money off of being in charge
Which
and
is scary.
break the system. Yeah, no, it's totally terrifying. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I think it was an impulse that led to the, telling of the story. It was like, yes, my brother died of an oxy overdose 14 years ago. Carl, I love him. I wanted to, fight back. And I think I told you guys last time, or maybe it didn't, that like the SF Chronicle did a profile on me and the attorneys to Purdue Pharmaceuticals that makes Oxy that was owned by the Sackler family until this settlement last month. For $5.7 billion was awarded to combat the evils that they had done and the
We are Relatably Random, produced and hosted by Allison Rossbaum and Katie Anderson. Music by The Trouble. Relatably Random is recorded in Katie's basement. Please like and subscribe if you're random. Follow us on Instagram at Relatably Random Pod. Thank you so much for listening.